Thank you for tuning in and checking out another episode of Unlucky, a memoir. My name is Kat. Everyone has a story. This one just happens to be mine. You know, there's an old saying that said God works in mysterious ways. And I found that out because sometimes God does things in your life that you need, that you didn't even realize that you needed at the time. So every Sunday I volunteer at my church. This past Sunday, hanging out, getting some stuff prepared for Christmas service upcoming weekend. And I started joking with my pastor about, because he saw I was reading our head pastor's book that he had written. And I had found out that he had written a book. So I started teasing him. I go, I heard somebody else wrote a book too. And he goes, yeah, it's not as good as that one though. It's, you know, what I forget exactly what he said, something to that effect. And then later that day at the later service, I brought it up again. I go, yeah, it's a shame. I went on and couldn't find that book anywhere online. You can't buy it anywhere. He goes, do you really want one? And I said, yeah, of course I do. And he immediately walked off to grab me a copy of his book. And it's a smaller book. It's a quick read. And it's called My Life is a Country Song. And I brought it home and started reading it and read it over the past few days. And the book deals with the loss of his father and how he worked through it and the processes he went through. And unbeknownst to me, Sunday, I should have remembered, but I talked about this on other episodes, that I've never really processed the death of my father. It happened December 14th in 2021. And I'm reading this book, and our fathers probably couldn't have been two more different people in the world. But a lot of the things he related to his father and situations reminding him of his father started bringing up emotions that I'd never processed or dealt with. And I was reading the book and I was crying. And I started feeling emotion that I had long since stuffed, partially because at the time of his death, I was in the hospital, hooked up to a lot of opiates and inside my own opiate addiction at the time, which helps to numb everything. And then once I got into recovery, part of me probably didn't want to even think about it or deal with it. Other parts of me didn't know how. And in reading this book, it started keying into a lot of that stuff that I never looked at. And it got me emotional. And I had to write an entry into the memoir of the time because it was an important event, apparently. You know, starting to process the emotions of the loss of my father. And talking about grabbing some stuff, a pair of boots, a couple other things that reminded him of his dad, and it made me think that I don't have any of that stuff. And that's due to the actions and decisions I made in my addiction. Because when my father died, we were estranged. We weren't talking because of things I had done and choices I had made. I didn't even know that he was in the hospital, in the same hospital that I was in at the time. He came in on Monday and was dead on a Thursday. And I didn't know until after the fact. But I also I wasn't able to say any goodbyes. I didn't have an opportunity. He was cremated, no headstone to visit. So a lot of the stuff that people may do to process the death of a loved one, I wasn't able to do. And so that's probably another reason why I stuffed all that emotion and feelings for so long. I sat there in that hospital bed after I found out. And then that's when I realized that nobody else was doing anything. I sat there in that bed and came up and wrote his obituary and posted it. And even that didn't really kick in anything other than I knew it needed to be done. My father was a loved man. He had friends everywhere. Everyone knew who he was. And to think at the very end, nobody even wrote his obituary or wasn't going to until I did. There was no funeral service, no memorial service, none that I know of anyway. But I'm finally starting to feel and grieve the loss of a man that probably never truly understood me, and that's more my fault than his. All he ever wanted was for me to be happy. Unfortunately, I don't think he ever really knew how to make that happen. He did his best. And I'm not here to cast any aspersions. He loves his kids, he loves his family. He doted on my son, his grandson. And I fell short in that relationship, again, because of my choices and my actions. I am not a victim. None of this happened to me. I take responsibility for the life that I led. And I think part of the thing that upsets me most is that he's not here to see the man I'm becoming. Because I think I'm turning out all right at this point. I'm definitely headed in a good direction. And I think he'd be proud to see the man I'm becoming and the direction I am heading. And thankfully, I have that church community behind me to support me in situations like this. And I have a pastor who helped God help me when I didn't even know I needed it. I'm grateful for that. And all I can do now is strive to be a better man today than I was yesterday. And I keep doing that to keep myself in position for the other people that are in my life, for the people I would like to have back in my life. The fact that Sunday I didn't even think about it was the anniversary of my dad's death. It's a little upsetting too. But God decided it was time and put that book in my path that my pastor had written. And I needed it. I may not have wanted it right then, but I needed it. And it's a path I'm happy to continue down. My pastor, Tyler, I'm truly, truly grateful that you wrote that book and we've connected since I've been at this church. And that I have the community of that church around me, people I care deeply about and I believe care deeply about me. Community is key. They hold me accountable. They lift me up when I'm down. And on a regular basis, they help lift me up even higher than I thought it could go. So again, my faith tells me that one day when I pass and go to heaven, I will see my Father again, and hopefully he can look at me and be proud of what he sees. I know I was going to try to stay away from these depressing videos for a little bit and just post some more, I don't know if it's lighthearted or just not quite as heavy, but I can only do what happens. And this just happened Sunday and into this week. So I figured it was important. I figured it was something I wanted to share with everyone. And I just got to keep moving forward and good things keep happening. And as heavy as this episode may be, it's a good thing. This has helped me move forward and process emotions I didn't know if I was ever going to see, hear, feel at all. But yeah, starting to mourn the loss of my father, who I miss dearly. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who follows along with my story and comes along this path with me on my journey. With that, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Hope you enjoy time with your family. Cherish it. And with that, I'll catch you all next week.